Live. Hello, hello at home. Hello here. We are live officially. Our Monday class. Incredible that we are here today. If you can hear us and see us, please say hello in the hello box, in the Q&A box, just so we know that we can be heard and that we can be seen. And we will begin. Almost rhymes. Very excited today. You know, sometimes you walk in. Hello, Peter. Good sound and good video. Thank you, Peter. It's all thanks to you. Now we're professionals with lighting. We just set it up, and you know, in the center right now. You see, I don't even move the camera. Perfect. Thank you, Peter, for all this hard work prior to your departure as a snowbird. Yeah, I have to tell you this. Did you hear the reason why Americans have Thanksgiving later than the Canadians do? No? Peter, maybe you know since you're half there. No? You never heard? Well, apparently, what do they eat? Turkey, right? So I heard that, you know, back in the day, they had the hunters, right, preparing the meals. So the turkeys were here in Canada, so they got some turkeys, and then they celebrated Thanksgiving, right? And all the turkeys migrated to the U.S. It took them some time, right? And then the hunters there got the turkeys and celebrated Thanksgiving there, because you can't celebrate without the turkeys, right? So it took them time to migrate. So the difference between Canada and U.S. just enough time for the turkeys to migrate, right? You like that? I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing that I figured out why they call duck, right? Because the hunters were out there and they saw birds, and one hunter says to the other, duck. Of course you never heard it. I came up with that one. The other one I heard. I'm not so good at Canadian American migration of birds, but that's the story about ducks. So, you know, I mean, this is how all good memes are come to life, right? It's just somebody says something and then it just sticks, right? Okay, so who else is here? Say hello. Phil and Shirley, hello. Video is great. Audio is great. Let's begin with something that we had that presentation, our second presentation to China yesterday. We do it early in the morning because of I think it's 13 hours difference right now because they didn't move their clocks. So there's 13 hours difference. So we did it at 8 in the morning in Toronto time, and Beijing time it was 9 in the evening. Now, here's the problem with 9 in the evening. I like to talk a lot, right? That's the problem, right? I have very good answers, very deep, very insightful. So we were there for 3 hours, right? That's the problem. And as I saw people dropping, I couldn't understand because I was doing so well. And only later I recognized it was 11 p.m., right? Never take it personally, right? Never take it personally. I learned a lesson. One of the questions that I answered, and we had people asking questions, and Joyce, our student, right, she was translating, as they were asking live, she was translating right away, and my answers, she was translating into Chinese right away. So it was quite amazing. And she's been translating for some time now, so she's so good now. I almost take her for granted in a sense because I keep talking. You know how I talk, and in the beginning, I was careful, right, to answer in such a way that she can listen in, and then give her some time, right? I say a sentence and I wait until she translates, and I say a sentence, and she became so good. I gotta give her that. She became so good not only in translating. Translating is easy, especially when what we're doing right now, she understands the subject. She actually understands what I'm trying to say, because that's much more important than translating. Translating is so like I said, I kind of forget sometimes that it's being translated, and I go on and on and on and on. They say, "Okay, Joyce, good luck," and then she literally I speak for 5 minutes, and then she translates it. But she basically shares with them what she understood from what I said, which is, again, I can't check it. I don't know, but I have a feeling that she understands. No, I know she understands, because I'll tell you what else we're doing. They have a chat group, and she's sending me the chats, and the app WeChat is allow me automatically to translate. So their questions and her answers and what she's saying from what I said, and it's pretty good. I'm amazed. So this is what I do before I go to sleep. I read a little bit. Good night story. So one of the questions that stuck in my mind from yesterday, it feels like it was a long time ago, but it was like 2 days ago, really. It was early in the morning on Sunday. Where does the energy come from? That was the question, because they did the practice, and they just wanted to know. They felt it, and all those things are happening, and they wanted to know, where does the energy come from? And we've had that question asked before, but I want to know actually what you will answer. I'm curious. It's not a test. I'm sure whatever you answer will be right, but I'm curious where your gauge is right now. Our answers are all right. It's just the question is, where are we measuring? Where's the measuring device that we place? So at home as well, please. Where is the energy coming from? Where's it coming from?
It's here.
It's
not
here.
Coming.
It's
so
not coming.
We're just connecting to kind of feel it. We don't even have to connect, but we connect our senses to feel it. That's how I understand. But it's not coming from anything special. So,
okay.
we just need to electricity.
Hey. Well, electricity is coming from the electrical power supply, and if it's a what is it called again when you have you have the wind mills, right? The wind, right? And so it's coming obviously from the wind, and then we capture it, and then we have solar. That's what I was trying to look for, the word solar energy, where it's literally coming from the sun, and then we have the hydro that's literally coming from wherever we are, likely Niagara Falls. We're not importing, right?
I hope so.
I hope we're not. I mean, we're doing that with oil, you know, we take the oil here, refine it in the US and then import it. But I hope we're not importing hydro. But so we're at, where's it come from?
So the question is where, like locations?
I don't know. That's what we're saying. Where's the energy coming from? Is it coming from you, Eric? Is it coming? It's coming from somewhere because I feel it, and we all feel it as it's changing, right?
So then there is a cause for the change. There is a cause for.
Rada's going deep. Good. If there's a
I
cause.
just don't know how to. When you limit it to where, it just becomes difficult question.
You see, I said I was right about everybody's going to have a right answer. The question is, where are they going to measure
So
it?
I would agree with this, but,
You-
but that's pretty much it.
Okay, I think I like where you're going, Rada. Keep going.
Okay. So I felt like, what is the call for that energy to be transformed? That we experience the changes in our experience.
Okay.
Before the transformation happens, what's the spark? What's that precedes
Okay.
the change? Or what's the
Okay. Can you guys hear Rada at home, or should I adjust the audio for you to hear him better? Let me know, please, as soon as you can. Let me just see. Hold on a minute. I really want to. This should be. Yeah, they should be able to hear you well from here. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would think that our relationship with the universe is somehow what precedes our experience of energy.
Our relationship
with the
universe. Now we're gonna have to define your perspective of the universe as well.
I think I said universe just because they say universal energy is that something that's before our experience. So, but our relationship to that, let's say, source from which the energy comes, is maybe what decides or what precedes the changes.
And I'm helping you right now to think, right? Just
So it seems like maybe just that almost that energy is being born in that relationship.
so the energy is being born in the relationship
All right.
between us and the universe. And the inspiration for that, the trigger, as you call it, is there's no wrong answer, by the way. It's you being able. Where are you measuring the beginning? Where are you measuring the trigger? Because there's lots.
Yeah, a couple of words I have it in front of me, not sure what. There could be the trust, or kind of similar to the faith. Could be the respect.
Towards what? Trust in what?
That other, that is not us. So maybe the bigger.
That's the key, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's the how I feel where the spark potentially
Right.
becomes.
Right. Can I challenge you a little bit more?
Sure.
Why do we even have to do anything?
If you don't, if they,
I mean, considering you agreed with the previous statement that Energy is here already, everywhere. We don't have to do anything. Now you agreed with that, and you also said, but hold on a second. There is something that I've noticed that when and I'm sure you're speaking from first.
Yeah.
When I have more trust and when I have more respect, I feel that I have more of that energy. And when I kind of shift from me
For the
to,
self.
to something bigger than me, something other than me, and I could have added the bigger, but something other than me, then I feel more energy, right? So we started with it's already here, and now we're able to almost magically enhance it somewhat by the way we relate to something that's not ourselves. Is that what you're saying, or is that what I'm hearing?
I think that is, but then you ask, okay, why do we have to do anything? Why
Okay, yes.
why is that not automatic? Why is that
Yeah.
not something that does not require
Right.
conscious relationship effort?
Right.
I feel just because we're about the changes, because we're about the growth, then there's always a need to initiate it, to participate.
Right.
What we've had is just, I don't know, tends to fade, sort of.
Right. And Peter says Retta is not clear. Retta, is it because
Maybe.
you can't understand what he's saying, or is it because you can't hear what he's saying? Right.
Usually Peter agrees.
Hold on. 1-1. You say something again, Retta?
From this position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe this is better. I hope it is. So I think I'm repeating somewhat of what you're saying, just to be, yeah. And hello, Vicky, still at the office, but luckily now I have a short break to listen to your teaching. Thank you, Vicky. Peter's saying the energy is always here. We can perceive it to the level where we are at the moment, not allowing a lot of it. When we increase our awareness, we get greater benefit of that energy, and the desire to allow more of it grows. See how we're gauging it differently a little bit. So Rada is still trying to answer the question of why even bother if it's already here. He's saying, and between you and Peter, I hear you say that there's a certain sense of unfulfilled desire that is guiding us to want more of that energy. And as we feel unfulfilled, then we shift a little bit, right? Well, hopefully that's what we're doing, not suffering, right? We have to suffer, right? Because we feel depleted from everything we do, everything we see, everything we know, from our own self, from our own inner voice, from people around us, from the past that we can't let go, from the future we don't want to look at, right?
Yeah, that's the motivation.
Right. Or we simply feel that there's more to it. And as Peter says, we get greater benefit of that energy and the desire to allow more of it grows. So Peter is talking about that sudden undefined shift in us where first we feel depleted, then we have some kind of sense to try and let go. Either we're hit hard enough or we just naturally led, or a little bit of both, likely. And then the more we allow, the more we let go of that, what Radha has said, that the more it's not, the more we respect something other than ourselves. And I'm going to Peter right now, the greater the benefit of the energy and the desire to allow more of it grows. In other words, we get the taste of what it feels like to not be suffering, even if we're challenged. And then suddenly we embrace the challenges, and right, Peter? And excited about them a little bit, even secretly. We're not allowed. Thank you. We're not allowed sometimes to, it's not going to look good on us if we tell anyone that, that we're kind of secretly happy we're being challenged. They may feel that, we need a professional opinion, but I think it's becoming more and more, and you walk around with a smile on your face, people are questioning, like, really? Did you see the weather? Why are you smiling? Did you hear about the economy? Why are you smiling? Right? Strange. Can't be smiling too much. Phil says, all molecules contain energy and they can be in many different forms. Therefore, it is everywhere. Okay. See, we have molecular perspective. And Peter says, there is more to it, and it's beautiful that the more I feel it. Okay, I'm going to have to read it here carefully. There is more to it, and it's beautiful that the more I feel it, I know there is even more than I thought before. Right. Now, you know what I did? First of all, I had to define energy a little bit. When I had to answer yesterday, I had to define energy because I knew that most beginners, their perspective of energy, right, is very confusing. I mean, once we come down to it, they're very confused what energy is, because we talk about, energy as being something that we use for light, we use for, and we also talk about energy as something that we feel energetic or don't feel energetic, right? That it's pure, what is it, hormone? Adrenaline. Yeah, that it's just adrenaline. And then people talk about basic tired or not tired energy, right? So I had to make sure that when we're talking about energy, that we are talking about more than just the physical measurement of energy. That we're talking not about availability of energy, how much of it do I have, but we also talk about quality of energy, how it makes us feel, how it makes us see the world. What Peter mentioned, awareness, and what Radha mentioned, how it shifts the focus from us to something outside of ourselves, and how it shifts the way we relate to things, as Radha said, respect and trust, which is something like faith, Radha said. And Peter may have used the word, even if he didn't write it, freedom, sense of freedom. I may use the word confidence, right? I may use the word inner dialogue, how it's being redefined, transformed. I may use the word, the way we view others, or the sense of empathy that we feel towards others, where what Radha was saying, that's exactly what Radha was saying, basically, of shifting the focus from self. So all those are defined by quality of energy. But the highest that I think I mentioned yesterday was the shift, the true shift of energy is when those things that used to deplete you now empower you. Wow, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. That which used to deplete you now empowers you. It's not utopian. Does anybody know the source of the word utopia? I studied it back in the day, but I don't remember. Was there a man, Utop, that used to know? It sounds like a Greek name, right? Aesop, Utop. No, utopia, right? It's a theory where you kind of wishful thinking, right? Imaginary perspective that we all know that could never happen because it just could never happen, but we wish it could.
Just like a place that doesn't exist. The origin of it. Maybe it's something about it.
Right. But so what we're talking about is not utopia. It's real, right? So we define energy, and once we define energy, Jelka, what do you think? What would energy be from where you are right now?
I would say energy is I don't have inspiration for words, but it's via energy and everything around is energy. So it's like a one. So as Radha said, we feel the difference when we seek. We are inspired to transform. Triggers when I feel energy is like when I'm seeking and trying to do something. So that is when I feel the spark.
I better ask you numbers. Numbers are good. Remember how you guess numbers? Right?
Yeah.
Words.
It's when you're like totally one with everything around you.
Okay. So the sense of unity, or maybe you're even trying to find the word for harmony, right? Where energy is the sense that you get where your state of harmony is changing, right? That's what you're trying to say. Evelina?
Oh, you will bypass this test.
I gave you time.
I think it is finding in little things that you will get this feeling in the most very simple things. Doesn't have to be anything big, but it's just the tiny simple things that you see it and then it touches you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Evelina sees energy and defines energy by simple things that touches you. Okay. Does it have to be pleasant?
The feeling of
Of being touched. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The feeling of being touched overall. Good, interesting. See how interesting our definition of energy is, and we could just by that we could almost recognize how we see the world. Amazing. Shirley is saying, in our inner work, energy could be linked to a field of awareness, open, expanding to no boundaries. Energy is the source of all that. Energy is the source of all that is. Okay? So I think maybe going back to yesterday and how I defined it for beginners, I said, well, first of all, I think what's most important thing to know about energy that it doesn't come and go. It doesn't travel. Energy itself doesn't travel. It's here. It's always here. It's always been here. And what really is changing is us. Right? We are changing, and that's the ultimate purpose, right? So that's how we feel that energy is changing, because we are changing. But energy is not coming, nor going, nor staying, nor stagnant, not blocked,
Not bad, good.
not
Not bad.
not bad. Thank you. Yeah, I said that. It's not bad. It's not good. There's never too much of it. There's never too little of it. Energy is just here, and we are the receivers, and we fine-tune ourselves, each of us very unique, to bring into this world experience for others and for self that can continue, in the beginning when we are born, we're unconscious about it, and it's just being done for us, for our survival. And as we become more aware, we're being pushed and being guided towards now becoming co-creation, part of co-creation of this world, which our world is through our eyes, and we are part of many, and we're co-creating not only for us. In this whole dance of how we feel and what we want and what we don't want, and that is all a dance that is greater than us. It's bigger than us because it's not all for us. We're confused a little bit by that. I didn't say that to them. Not in the beginning. I think we're recognizing that more and more now, but ultimately what the illnesses, the discomforts, whatever it is that we're going through are ways in which we recognize how much more potential we have that we haven't fulfilled. That's all it is. And I said that, again, I don't believe I said it yesterday. I may have. I believe that illness is just an indicator of a problem. It's an indicator of a higher potential on the other side that haven't been fulfilled, and it's time. If it's showing us and it's giving us the opportunity, and run with it. Our body only knows it's healing. It doesn't know anything else. In this world, there's nothing more than growth. It's just when it slows down relatively to your potential, that's when the experience is unpleasant. So you get the opportunity, you get the discomfort. Here you go.
But you said to see purpose, but the unpleasantness.
Do I see purpose?
But the quality of the experience.
Do I see a
You're
purpose
not
for?
comfortable, unpleasant somehow.
Well, I think
There's no
unpleasant.
purpose for that.
Yeah, unpleasant is almost correlating to opening yourself to that which you don't know to desire, to bigger than your own needs. Why is it unpleasant? It's because you don't recognize the benefit. That's all. The moment you recognize the benefit, it's unpleasant, but you celebrate it.
There's more.
You cherish it because it takes you somewhere. But just unpleasant, maybe it's just a way, you know, hot, cold, heavy, light.
It's sort of a signal.
It's a signal.
For
It's a signal.
change or.
Yeah, I kind of took it further to what you probably meant by unpleasant. You said unpleasant and undesirable.
Certainly.
Yeah, you said that. Unpleasant doesn't have to be undesirable.
Well, it's all unpleasant. It's entirely unpleasant without that sense of that having the purpose. I think.
After a good workout, there's pains, but there is a sense of accomplishment that is greater than that. After you've helped somebody change their lives, inspired them into something bigger, saved them from something, left an imprint for the rest of their life, sacrificed something to do that. It was very unpleasant. It's still unpleasant. You wouldn't give it away. You wouldn't give it away for your loved ones, for your family, for your nation, for even strangers at times, right? It's unpleasant and sense of accomplishment is not necessarily, and sense of purpose is not necessarily opposites. At times, the most unpleasant may be the most rewarding. Look back and see in your life what the most unpleasant moments in your life may have been triggers for and outcomes of, later, or they brought to, maybe. So first of all, we established what energy is and what it isn't, right? And thank you for reminding me. I did say that it's not, again, a measure of, it couldn't be good, it couldn't be bad, it just is. And there was another question, I wasn't sure. Was it that I answered it before this definition of energy or after yesterday? But the question was very interesting because the experience that they had was the first 6 days, I was teaching them 3 mindsets a day. And 3 mindsets a day with self-regulation. And on the 7th day, I introduced inner command for the first time. So here was one of the students asking the question. She said, Eric, very interesting that, I had sleeping problem for a very long time. And, right after she started doing the practice, the sleeping problem seems to diminish until she was sleeping well. And then when she did the seventh day, which was inner commands, the first time she got introduced to inner commands, she said, I couldn't sleep again. Is it possible that there was too much energy? As I started giving myself the energy, it was too much of it, and therefore I couldn't sleep. So maybe I didn't try it, she said, but maybe I should do it in the morning now instead of doing it at night before I go to sleep, because maybe there was too much energy, so I couldn't sleep. So I guess I think I may have, I don't remember again when that question was, before where's the energy coming from, or after. How would you answer that question? So, how would you answer the question?
Was it because she had too much energy?
Yeah. She was concerned that inner commands would. Yeah, it was before. It was definitely before my definition of energy. Yeah.
I know that in general, that those inner commands are there.
Inner keys, basic inner keys, they did on the seventh day, and she was concerned that those inner keys were too much energy for her. So maybe she should try doing it in the morning, so it wouldn't give her too much energy, because she couldn't sleep on the seventh day. The rest of the days she slept very nice.
I believe that when she does it, it's not really matters, because
Okay.
balance it out, so she
Okay.
will sleep like that.
So it doesn't matter when she does it. Then.
Overexcited of experience,
Okay.
that could
Okay.
change the pattern of
Okay.
her sleep.
She was overexcited.
Maybe she was experiencing something really great,
Right. Okay.
but she was not maybe aware of it.
Okay. So maybe it was just excitement. Okay. Evelina, how would you answer the question?
Maybe that was a time for creation at that moment.
I'm sorry?
Maybe it was a time for creation at that moment.
Okay.
As she was full.
Maybe it was time for creation, yeah? You don't sleep, you shouldn't sleep. Do something, yeah? You would send her a set of paints and, right? And canvas, and say, can't sleep, draw, paint. Right? What are you worried about? Live it, girl. Okay, thank you, that's good.
Just like really, if excited and
Right.
you're not aware of it,
Mhm.
maybe the excitement takes you to do something, but you think like I have to sleep instead
Right.
of following the next step. So
Right.
maybe-
Okay.
Me, I think it doesn't matter, because she probably on that particular time would not need that much sleep,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Because the energy that she felt, that she experienced, would make up for the sleep time,
Right.
for the sleeping time.
Right.
Doesn't matter how much she slept, I think.
Right. So, okay, interesting
That's how
perspective.
I experienced that.
Right. Interesting perspective. So if you didn't sleep a lot, who said you need to sleep a lot? Maybe you don't sleep. Maybe it's better for you. Right? Cook. I'm sure you have people at home would appreciate you.
Clean the house.
Clean the house.
Is it a man or a woman?
Yeah, doesn't matter. What's the difference? Just don't make noise. If it's a man, they're gonna make noise. They don't know. They don't get it. Yeah, women are a little bit more at home. What would you answer? Peter says, I would have asked, how was your day? Maybe that kept her awake. Mm. This is why I didn't. Peter. You've been practicing. Right?
But I think, we just asking, is it better to do it before or after, right?
Okay.
But I think it would be to do better do it before, because that energy could only help.
Before bed.
For a short moment, maybe you're more awakened, but then in a few minutes, it should get better.
Okay.
So it's actually better to do it before sleep.
Right.
But I felt when Zolka was saying, maybe there's something that we may do in that situation, just to override a little bit the impact of meditation, just thinking about it. I think there's interesting keys and there's somehow a new concept that you talked about during the meditation.
Okay.
That, one might start to explore that in their minds, and start to get inner dialogue afterward. And that might keep us awake a little bit longer than without it.
Okay.
So that could have been a factor maybe
Mm-hmm.
in a situation like this. Although I believe meditation in itself
Right.
is just always beneficial.
Okay. Interesting, Radha and Njoka are kind of completing each other because, yeah, not a surprise. I think what Radha is trying to say that uh, for the beginner, a lot of times meditation creates a lot of thought later. But as we go a little bit deeper, I think in our meditation, after the meditation, there's less thought. But then again, it changes according to, like Peter said, according not the meditation itself, but basically according to how you live your day, right? So I think Peter has added a very important element here, which I used to answer. I said, here's the truth. First of all, there's no such a thing as too much energy. We can't have enough because it's not about the volume of energy, it's about the quality of the energy. And obviously, the energy that we're talking about is nothing but the type of energy that supports natural cycles of our body, which means that if it needs more energy to sleep, it will give you that, and if it, right? And obviously, there's 3 steps. First, depending on how we lived our day, if we had a lot of things on our mind and we couldn't solve many, many, many different things, then our mind is trying to solve so many things that ultimately we would need more sleep, because sleep is rejuvenating us. We would need longer sleep and deeper sleep. If we simply physically tired, type of energy, then we sleep well. But if we are emotionally, mentally, or spiritually challenged, then even though we may use some sleep, we can't. We have a hard time. So depending on how our day was and how we responded to that day, not even how our day was, but how we responded to it, how we lived it, and then our night would indicate that. And in the beginning, we'd likely love to have more sleep and deeper sleep and longer sleep. Later, we would probably want better quality sleep, and then we would probably want less sleep because we've lived a better day. We don't need to rejuvenate from it. We're using sleep for another reason. We're continuing our growth in the night, which means we don't need as many hours, and we don't need to be knocked out. Literally, and I'm using that word. We don't need to be in deep unaware sleep, because deep unaware sleep, the reason for it is so we don't interfere with our own growth. If we've been humbled by life, then we don't need to be disconnected to rejuvenate. Then we disconnect on a different level. We step back out of empowerment, not out of need, out of desperation. Right? And of course, you start understanding there's memory loss, there's state of shock. Those are all, and deep sleep, those are all mechanisms to allow basic rejuvenation, not to short circuit you, you know? So sleep, right. And there could never be too much energy. Now, third question, and I still want to share that. Third question I was asked because this is important. They noticed that I was saying that there could never be too much energy. So why did you say that don't meditate more than 3 times a day? Good question, right? So why do you say don't meditate more than 3 times a day? What is it?
Challenging thing.
Challenging, very challenging. I know, right? It's good that it was in the last, hour, those questions, and not in the first. I was already warmed up.
Get ready for that.
Right. So
Like big time.
why would I say that there could never be too much energy, right? Yet I recommended not to meditate more than 3 times a day. At home, you're welcome to answer those questions.
I think like one of the reasons is we complete everything at 3. That would be one.
Okay, one of the reasons is because we like the number 3. Okay.
Second, I feel like there need to be balance of practicing and applying practicing in your life. So
Right.
I think that would be good balance.
Okay.
So,
For the balance between
yeah.
practicing and applying it. Okay.
And it's just like a good way of getting yourself into the rhythm of being part of your daily ritual.
Okay. It's a good way to get yourself into a ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 At home? Peter, meditation is to help you in this life, not to replace it. Oh, Peter. Right. So why? I know you answered it well. I know that you probably meant it, but so why not do it 4 times or 5 times or as many times as I can? Wouldn't it make my life better? Don't answer that, Peter. Don't answer that. What Peter is trying to say is that I question your intention, basically, not your energy levels, when you want to do it more than 3 times. Basically, you have to ask yourself, what is your intention for meditation? What is the mindset? Is the mindset to go faster? Are you speeding up? Not enough what you're receiving? Right? Is your intention to, because you found some pleasantry either in the challenge or in the reward of meditation, then you willing to escape from the obvious challenging life and just receive at least a moment for yourself longer in the meditation, more. And then my question is, why don't you just improve the quality of your meditation? What Željka said, right? Why don't you simply improve the quality by shifting it from what are the three stages that we talked about? Through routines, take it away from routine, it's not a routine anymore. Take it away from habits. It's not something that you don't want to be, you don't want it to put it on automatic. You want to actually constantly be investing in it and challenging yourself in it, challenging not through, you see, if you don't want to be invested, it means you just want to receive from your meditation. But receiving, we understand, is the beginning stage, and ultimately it is the giving to receive in our meditation that is the most powerful part, where we are able to give away the control, right? Where we are able to give away the expectations, give away the desire to experience something you already experienced again, give away the expectations of how it should be, give away the need to use the meditation to fix something. Give everything. And then you receive. Right? So why not just make it into a ritual, which is a state of giving, right? Instead of a state of receiving, which is a routine or a habit, and make it a better ritual in which you go there to be challenged more instead of more often, right? So you shift the more often to more effective, more powerful, more transformative, more intentional, more giving, more empowering. Right? That's what Peter and Jelka and Radha were saying, right? Not going to help you more times. It's nice. But you can add more times once you raise to a level where you're no longer racing. Right? That you're not in the reactive. Yes?
I thought, even when you explain it that way, it seems still there's a way for reasoning great, but the more I practice, I could be better at giving, I could be better at all of that. Just more often doesn't necessarily make it not so.
Right.
So I thought the part of your answer would be somehow that significance along those lines that are like drop by drop by drop. There's something that must happen
Right.
between the drops that's also important.
Right.
Not just, even just for meditative practice,
Right.
not just, we do it for life, not
Right.
but even the in reverse.
Right.
The life sort of helps the meditative work
Right.
as well, so that the growth requires kind of both
Right.
sides, and
Right.
that somehow that would be part of the.
Right. Right. I would answer to that that probably 999 times out of 1,000, it will be the wrong intention.
Yeah, okay, so that's different.
And the one time out of 1,000 that the person, then I will be able to help them find the drops within the half an hour, more drops, as opposed to having to add more meditations to have more drops. So, right?
Yeah, so,
And maybe the most important part of it, I would say that, there are three ways in which I learn and bring information. One is my sensitivity to energy, another is how I see development of a child, and the third is the ancient knowledge. And the ancient knowledge has shown that creation happened in 7 days, 7 parts, okay, and one part was internal, right, and 6 parts were external. So if you were to measure your life into what's the percentage of practice against bringing that practice and continuing what you've practiced in your life, practicing it further, so it doesn't stop the practice. You start bringing what you've accomplished and now applying it in your life. It's not a passive life. It's very active and intentional. Now you live intentionally. Now you become more aware. Now you expend your time because now you notice things you couldn't notice before. Now you're not only fighting and reacting to things for survival. Now you're noticing things which would be irrelevant for your survival. And that's why you're celebrating them, because they're now empowering you. You would notice them otherwise. They're guiding you and inspiring you. You wouldn't notice them when you were down, but when your momentum changed. And survival is not where you are, it's which way your momentum is, direction that you're going. You're going towards faith from fear, or towards fear from higher. And then, yeah, if today's high is tomorrow's low, then your life is a continuation of the practice, and you're intentional in your life, and you're not self-regulating in your life. Don't misunderstand me. And that was another question in their chat. That was one girl that found that she was going for a walk and her body was moving, and she was singing out, and she thought it was kind of strange. And what do I do? I said, well, I question your intention. Why are you doing it? Why are you letting the body self-regulate? What is the intention? Is there a specific intention you're doing it with? Well, then you're not meditating, then don't. That's not what it's for. Make sense?
Was it meant to be alternative to meditation?
No, she was just happy that her freedom was so great that she was able to go and just her body was doing stuff in her life. Right? And I said, please don't do it. You're confusing meditation and your life. Don't bring your life into your meditation, right? Don't judge, don't expect, don't try and fix, don't control, don't try and bring old into the meditation. And don't bring meditation into your life in such a way. The meditation that comes into your life is the way you view the world, the way your level of empathy, your level of patience, your level of acceptance, your level of unconditional relation to self and others. That's what you bring into your life. Continue living. Don't confuse the two. It's not intended to be confused. It's not an easy, thing to. Hello, Jen. Yeah. So, right? It's quite amazing. So we answered the question of why not meditate more than 3 times. We answered the question how not to confuse everyday life and meditation. We answered the question, what is energy? We answered the question, there was a 4th question, no?
What is energy?
Oh, yeah, we answered the question of the 7th day where inner commands could not interfere with your sleep. Amazing, right?
So did you pass if you're a professor, have you passed your test?
Did I pass the test? Not did they pass it. Did I pass the test?
Did we pass
Oh, you. Same. Did I pass the test with you as well? Did I pass the test? Because all those things that I was saying, I needed to know if I was heard and understood, and and based on your responses, I could tell also how you apply that into your life. Because where your attention is, that's where your intention is. How they say the eyes do not see and the ears do not hear what the mind does not desire. Unless you're meditating.
Did you hear it?
Okay, so with that, let's
We will meditate.
let's meditate. Rada was right. I like the answers. Peter, that means you hear him. Thank you, guys. Okay, so 1 minute, and then we're going into a meditation. Is that hot chocolate, guys? Yeah?
It says happy winter day with a little
Okay.
heart in front.
Thank
Couldn't
you.
let it be.
Happy winter day, it says. Wow, it has a note. Guys, you have to see this. Here. It's got a note, happy winter day, and a little heart on it. We are so spoiled.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
birthday, happy birthday to you.
What birthday? Birthday's gone. Like turkeys. It's migrated. Very gentle. Okay, so please. We begin very, very basic. Very, very basic. I'm gonna shift this because it's only me talking. Okay, there we go. Much easier to hear me from home. So we begin from a standing posture, as always. Eyes are closed. Probably the most important part of our work in our meditation is that it's intentional. Hear me right, it's intentional. That's one of the most important. Even the self-regulation is intentional because we're using mindsets. Using mindsets that before we begin the meditation, we remind ourselves that this is the time that you cannot make a mistake. This is the time where you can trust your body, let go of control. And be empowered by it. This is the time to give freedom. To have patience with yourself. To give away judgment and expectations. This is the time. This is the perfect time. This is the time to stop fighting gravity. I still see people fighting gravity. If you're still standing, kind of, then ask yourself, maybe you need to be standing, or maybe you're fighting gravity. Ask yourself that question. Maybe you're waiting to be pushed instead of guided. I'm raising the bar on this today. Maybe you're waiting to be pushed instead of being guided. Trust the guidance inside, from the inside. And if you're not sure, do it anyway. Just note that it cannot be that you're guided just to be comfortable. that would not be guidance. That would be fulfilling desires. Not the same. Guidance is towards something that you're not sure, that you cannot fully understand. At a basic level, we practice of the body, and then guidance becomes part of our experience. Guidance becomes part of our freedom in our everyday life. We gain what we call the vocabulary of the senses to allow us to recognize that guidance and trust it and follow it. And suddenly we're not only dependent on protecting ourselves, now we have this magical sense challenging you a little bit. It's an advanced group today. I'm going to challenge you a little bit, and I'll say that the true magic is knowing how to maneuver in the dark, not in the light. The true magic is knowing how to respond when it's challenging you, not when it's rewarding you. Oh, when it's rewarding you, it's tough as well, but not to forget where you came from. But when it's challenging you, to take a pause, not to fight the unpleasant feelings, of shame, guilt, expectations, anger, not to fight them. But to accept that you're human. To accept that you're human and allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, just allow it to be felt. Whatever you feel, allow it to be felt. Now you're becoming that person. Not only accepting it in your mind, but now you're embodying it, the being level. Whatever you're feeling, accept it. Cut yourself judging, expecting. There's an uncomfortable feeling that comes with it, right? Shame and guilt. Accept it. Accept it, just observe it. Accept it. Surprise yourself. Don't fight it anymore. Don't resist it. Even more, even more, even more freedom. Don't fight gravity, maybe you levitate. Catch yourself on the different ways in which you are internally expecting and conditioning yourself and holding yourself back. Catch yourself in that and catch that feeling because the feeling is a sensation in the body, right? So go to that feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling. Go there and don't resist it. Yeah? That's how we practice in our meditation. Go to that uncomfortable feeling and don't resist it. Let yourself feel. Let yourself be human. There's an amazing shift of energy right now. So all the way, all the way. Trust it all the way. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not so obvious. Let's trust the not so obvious. And the moment you catch yourself not trusting, don't resist the feeling. Accept the feeling. Uh-huh. Even more. Even more. I always say that we have developed a tendency to leave things for later. Don't leave anything for later. What you experience now, let it express now. There's no later. Later will be later. You'll express what you need then. More freedom. That's it. Your body's elastic. It's becoming elastic the less judgment, the less expectation, the less anger, the less resistance you have, the more elastic it becomes. It's fluid now. It's not pushing, it's bending, twisting. Even more freedom. But raise the energy a little higher. Follow the not so obvious. Follow the nose suaves all the way. All the way. All the way, all the way. Let it surprise you. Forget to let it surprise us. We become such experts. Even more. Even more. Right from the beginning, I always said, if you're surprised, you're doing it right. If you're surprised, you're doing it right. What surprises you right now? Where is it taking you? What would the body do if you just observe? Take it there. You don't want to eliminate any thoughts, you just don't want to expand them, right? So if there is a thought, catch it. Bring it back to the body. There's a feeling attached to the thought, and the feeling is expressing itself in the sensation of the body. Always guaranteed. Not always easy to catch it, but we're in the body, but trust the fact that wherever it's taking you, it's the right place. Every thought right now has a feeling that comes with it. The feeling is a sensation of the vocabulary of the senses. Bring your attention back to that sensation and don't fight it, don't resist it, accept it. You're human. That's a human thing to do. It should be very desirable to feel, to sense. Not only pleasant sensation, every sensation to accept and sense. It's a human thing to do. There. You're doing great. Even more. Surprised? Excellent. Even more freedom. Remind yourself that you came here to give. The receiving is that energy that is in your potential. It's yours. You're giving because you're transforming your ability to receive. You're giving in a multiple different ways, perspectives, mindsets, and the energy makes it even more possible for you to do. You're intentionally challenging yourself. For your breath. As we always say, that breath is not only for oxygen, it has the ability to adjust postures and movements internal as well. Two more minutes. Let's give it all we have, all the freedom. Touch your limitations. See how far you can be, how much more trust you can have in your body, how much more strange it could be for you. Strange, unexpected, surprising. Catch any tension inside. Recognize it's a feeling that's uncomfortable and accept it. Don't try and get rid of it. Opposite. Accept it. Accept the tension. Shoulders, accept the tension. Neck, accept the tension. Hips, accept the tension. Knees, accept the tension. Arms, accept the tension. Chest, accept the tension. Beautiful. Take your time. As soon as you're ready, please open your eyes. I would love to hear the word of the day. First word that comes. Beautiful energy tonight. Brad is walking it off. There's so much accumulated, it's still trying to move, so he's walking it off. Good.
Are we done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're never done. We're taking a pause until the next meditation we'll do.
Sorry? No, I couldn't hear.
What's the word of the day, Peter? Phil, Shirley, Vicky, Andre, when you listen to this. Jan, what's the word of the day? Jelka.
One word,
One word.
team.
Team. Okay. Teamsters?
Team,
Not
like
Teamsters.
a group of people working together.
I'm talking about Teamsters. From the Irishman.
Unit.
Yeah.
It's kind of opposite of meditation.
Right.
It's less like 4 hours
Yeah.
or something.
It's called. It's almost like a goodbye party.
It was painful.
I'd say resonance with the I don't know, higher vibration, maybe something like harmony, love, unity. One of those things. I feel like resonance. That's the word. This is just extras.
Jesus.
What's the word of the? No words.
Giving birth.
Giving birth.
Oh,
Noble.
It's your birth.
Very noble word. Peter says he just watched The Irishman yesterday. Andre says the word is light. Thank you for a great session. Thank you, Andre.
Oh,
My word is higher. Higher.
Like a ship.
Yeah. Peter says he watched The Irishman yesterday. Did I say that?
when? Last night?
Yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
You
So
too?
we see your team, unity.
So I was right on, right?
Yeah.
You know, there was comedian back in the Soviet times. his name was Arkady Rykin. And he was saying that, those ballerinas, yeah, they spin and spin and spin and spin. Like, you gotta connect them to something, make some light. And I was just thinking about The Irishman, the movie, right? And saying, all this time we spent, we could have done some good, yeah? If all of us come together, we could have done a lot of good in this world.
That was great. I would never do this again.
I didn't say ballerina, right? Vicky, I'm going to practice the notation in the office. Okay, Vicky, just watch for the furniture. Yeah. Vicky's needs a lot of room. Peter says, I wrote before The Irishman that surprisingly the word for me was inner peace. Oh, I missed that? Sorry. Yeah. Phil said grateful. I missed a lot of words here. Thank you, Peter. Phil said grateful, and Shirley said one word of the day is humble. And Peter did say that for him was inner peace.
Wow. A lot of good vibration words.
A lot of
Good vibration words.
vibrational words. Yeah. Cheesecake, anyone? That's a good vibration. Jen? Cheesecake? See, when somebody has this word like cheesecake, they say no words. I get no words.
When you have a word enough.
Yeah.
You have a word enough.
I have a word.
Okay.
Yeah. Like for me, for this meditation was first. I don't have it very often like visual, but this time it was visual for me. So I was climbing the wall, a very straight high wall. I was just rock climbing. And I said, do I have to go there? Yeah, I have to go there, but really? Do I have to really climb? Is there another way? And then, yes, there's another way. You can fly there instead of just climbing with great effort. Just, okay, let's fly. So I just put my wings on and I flew to that point. But then I said, okay, is there yet another way? Do I have to have really wings and fly? How about if I just, am I really self, just a little bit overweight, 50-plus-year-old woman, and just stand here and I still fly without even wings? That is even another twist. I can do that. Okay, let's do that. So I would just put my hands into my pockets again and then let's fly there. The transformation, interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A lot of insight there. A lot of insight.
Yeah.
A lot of insight. So you're showing the stages of growth, right? A lot of stages, necessary stages. Peter and Phil, Peter and Furley, no. Phil and Shirley. Phil and Shirley say thank you so much for tonight's presentation. Thank you so much. Yeah. We're done. We're done. Thank you. Thank you at home. And we're good. Until next time.